welcome to the podcast Inside.
All right, Jean Jones was a licensed nurse that drugged children at Baxter Hospital, and she used digoxin and heparin to drug the babies.
Yeah, wasn't she known for like killing over 60 children from lethal doses?
Yes, way more than 60, some we don't even know about.
Yeah, that's like horrific crimes. I cannot wait to dive deeper into her and like the psychological things to figure out why she did that and how to prevent it in the future.
Yeah. Um, I heard some crazy things about her. I heard that she was married to an older guy, and then she got divorced and married a 19-year-old nurse assistant. Right? Is that
Yeah,
correct?
that was weird. Cause why are you marrying someone so young?
I know, right?
Let's see what we can uncover about this case through the eyes of other students and professors. So let's see what they have to say. And we cannot wait for our next speaker.
All right.
Let's go, y'all. This is me, Angeline. I'm going to be talking to.
Hey everybody, my name is Bailey Gray. Do I keep going?
Yes.
Oh, I'm a chemistry tutor here in the library, and I'm on the Royal Court as the first attendant.
All right, Bailey. You said I heard that you were junior. How's it been going here at ASU?
I've been enjoying my time. I try to get outside, join a lot of organizations,
Mm-hmm.
and just put a little bit of myself out there in almost every corner of the school.
Okay. So I'm a freshman here. So you got any advice? I know you about to get ready to leave like next year. So you got any advice for me as a freshman?
Uh, Stay true to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Don't let ASU change you.
Okay. All right. So we have some few topics right here. About before you came here, we talked about Gene Jones.
Mhm.
That's a serial killer. We get a little more depth about how like she used to be a nursing and stuff like that. Do you have any things about serial killers?
I mean, I'm kind of informed on them. Like I know about Jeffrey Dahmer,
Mm-hmm.
or I think somebody from Indiana. His name was like something Wayne Gacy.
Yeah.
And but not I've never heard of her before. So
Hearing about serial killers, like, how does that make you feel? Like, do you believe like that's actually real?
I mean, yeah, they're real. The people who were killed were real. So there had to be somebody who did it.
Yeah. Okay.
So you had said something about Jean Jones. I never heard of her. So can you give me a little bit more explanation?
Oh yeah, of course. She's a white lady. Uh, she used to kill like 60 babies, right?
Babies.
Yeah, 60 plus babies.
Mm.
Apparently she wanted to be seen as a hero. Probably drugged them and then probably found like some medicine, like just to make them look better and healthy. And like I said, before you came in here, she had got married, then she got divorced because she married another 19-year-old, and which caused a lot of conflict to cause her like really be like kind of like mentally ill as a person.
So she was killing the babies when she was 19.
Oh nah, she married a 19-year-old assistant, a nursing assistant. But she was like, I think she was like probably her late 20s, kind of like getting to her 30s, around there.
Nurses face higher level of stress. So do you feel like that played a part in her criminal behavior?
If I was to be completely honest, I don't believe that has anything to do with her being a criminal, because just because you're stressed, that could lead you to do some things that you wouldn't normally do. But she kept doing it over and over. Like it was to stop at one and be like, okay, maybe her stress, she was too stressed out. She made a mistake here. But y'all said she killed 60 different babies.
60
That's
plus.
60 plus, which is even more insane. When she did this over and over and over again. That can't just be stress. That's something deep inside her that was really messing with her.
I like that. We're giving input on that question, but do you personally feel like because she was attention seeking and she was a narcissist, she had a hero complex, I feel like that played a part? Because also nurses are very much unappreciated, which when they work all the time, they're not getting the money they owe, they don't feel like they're appreciated, they might get burnt out. Do you feel like any of those played a part in her actions?
So I feel like the underappreciated and attention seeking and the hero complex that she had was part of the deep rooted thing in her heart that led to her to do that. But being burnt out and underappreciated is no excuse for trying to go out and kill 60 different kids. And while you can say they're underappreciated, I personally appreciate all the nurses that I've seen because they are the ones who really give you the care. Like the doctor come in, they prescribe, but the nurse is the one who sits with you and takes down your information and prescribes. Like they're the ones that you see the most. So if she wasn't feeling appreciated by her patients too, versus just like the people on the other side, that then maybe she has something else to look into, like I was saying before.
Thank you so much for giving us that input. That was very much appreciated. I feel like I have a better understanding.
All right, Demonte here, and I'm speaking with.
Bailey.
All right, so do you think, since our country has been studying the psychological studies of serial killers, do you think that this can prevent future crimes?
I believe with the more serial killers that we've seen and how we've been looking into them more and more, then we can start noticing the signs earlier. And I feel like that's what's been happening because we started off with who knows, like serial killers all the way back in the 1900s. But as time's been progressing, we have less and less because our government and people who study them are able to like perceive the signs before it happens.
All right, it's crazy because psychologists can tell you signs or show signs of how a serial killer is formed or how they grow up. And they can tell this by them peeing in the bed, them burning stuff, them,
His signs of being bad.
yeah, different signs, no sleep, stuff like that.
Dang, that's crazy. Because like when I was younger, I'm not gonna lie, I used to have a whole bunch of nightmares. Is that like one of the signs too? Or
It could be, but it's not really a sign of a serial killer.
okay, so are there any other signs that you ain't mentioned?
Some more ways you can tell is the violence they do, their emotions, and their intrusive thoughts. Have any one of y'all ever had like intrusive thoughts of doing something?
Yeah, I feel like we all as humans have intrusive thoughts, but most of us do not act on it. But one time, like I was in the kitchen cleaning a knife, and I had like a thought to like stab myself in the stomach. Obviously, I didn't do that because most humans do not act on their intrusive thoughts. But that was one of mine. It was actually really scary, but I actually didn't do it though, so it was okay.
I had one. I used to be bad as a kid. I used to do stuff like pee in the bed, like having nightmares, like you said. It used to be like somebody be like on the edge of the pool. I'd be like want to push them in there, and just stuff like that. But even though I'm not a serial killer, nothing like that. But that's some
We all,
thoughts I
all,
had.
all of us humans have intrusive thoughts, and most serial killers will act on those intrusive thoughts. That's what makes us different than serial killers.
Mhm.
They will act on those thoughts without actually thinking how this would affect others.
Yeah, like some other researchers about like how serial killer is like how like usually they would have like you said intrusive thoughts, but like they'll get hit in the head and part of their brain will have them like act on
Mm,
that, or like how majority like women like they'll get like rape or abuse, and then that would cause them to like act out on like being crazy and stuff like that. And yeah, and like have you ever noticed like any like serial killers like majority of being white and like other people not black because like they consider as like gangs and stuff like that. Like you ever notice that?
yeah, I've been noticing that. Like, because whenever you see serial killer, it's usually somebody who is Caucasian
Yeah,
and they're not black. But when it's somebody who's black, they'll be like, "Oh, it was just a gang member. He killed a whole bunch of people." Like,
right.
I hate to say it, but like King Von, he was
Mhm.
definitely a serial killer,
Yeah,
but he was
facts.
never classified as one.
Mhm.
So it's kind of weird how they do that.
All right, I have a question. Do you think it's possible that like her ability like to play the hero has like fulfilled her need for like psychology?
I feel like it did because her feeling like a hero is something that she's probably missing in her life. Like maybe there wasn't somebody who was a hero that she seen when she was growing up,
Mhm.
and so to fill that need hole in her life, she's like, okay, maybe I need to be a hero.
Yeah.
And I heard from somewhere that like in the past, doctors used to do this
Mhm.
because they want to make a mistake and then come back around and fix it so that they would get all the glory, which
Right.
really ties into how y'all are saying she was narcissistic.
Mhm.
Had narcissistic traits earlier. So the hero complex with the narcissistic mix really is like probably what caused her to start killing all those babies.
Right.
And it made her justified in her own soul because she felt like a hero at the end of the day.
Mhm. And then I also have like to add on to it, like how like before then she was like put in foster care, and like who our guardian was like a nightclub owner, and I feel like as a nightclub owner, like he probably like came back drunk, a little tipsy. He probably didn't show her love as much, and I feel like that like kind of draws attention, like want her to like get attention, have all like you said glory and stuff like that. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I definitely understand that though.
Yeah.
This is Angela here with Bailey. I have one final question for you, Bailey, before we end your interview for today. How do you feel about psychological education in training and how it helps professionals avoid falling victim to manipulative behaviors in high stress environments?
It's definitely important. This is like one of the most important things that I've learned in my life because if you can't deal with the stress, you're not gonna break down and make it down. You're gonna break down and crumble. Like all your support that you had, it's all gonna fall apart because you don't have the base to stand on. So that means it's easy for you to be manipulated because people can start taking what is it called? They can start taking over you, like they can start running over you. And when I was in class with Miss Mishu back in general psychology when I was a freshman, she definitely taught me ways to de-stress and take care of my own mental, which was very important.
I have Miss Missy too. I'm having her. This is her class right now, sophomore year.
Okay. Hey, Miss
I'm
Missy.
taking her too. So that's really cool. Give more insight on that.
I
Like, what
had
did she
her.
teach you that we're carrying on now? You know what I mean? Specifically with the class. Did you guys actually talk about serial killers also or no?
Let me see. It was a few years ago. Um, let's see. In Miss Mishu's class, I remember our last project that I remember doing was the one where we had to write that paper about sleep. And then after that, we talked about Freud and things around there. I don't remember talking much about serial killers though.
Oh, thank you so much for your insight. Like, oh my gosh, like I can't imagine someone else better to interview than you, because you have insight from the professor that we have right now. Thank you so much. This concludes our interview with Bailey Gregg. I'm your host, Angeli.
Demonte.
Nehemiah. Hello, everyone. This is episode 2, part 2 of Inside the Mind. Your host, I'm Nehemiah.
Demonte.
Angeli.
All right, let's get started.
Today we have our speaker with us. Please introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Jalen Perry. I'm a student at Albany State University. I'm in 10th grade and my major is mass communications.
We're so excited to have our best friend here today. Thank you so much for volunteering.
Yeah.
As you know, me and Jalen love watching crime documentaries, and we watched episode on Gene Jones, and that's how we all chose as a team Gene Jones.
Yeah. Little serial killer thing is a little off the books, but it's a nice little podcast thing to listen to in the morning.
It's
So,
very isn't it entertaining? We love watching it.
like for example, this one I saw about where there's this entire little small town and there's this one guy who terrorizes this entire town. Like he kills like 3-4 people, but no one in the town can get him in jail because he's part of this mafia group and he just gets away with a lot of stuff. So then what happens is they have this town hall meeting and like the sheriff and a bunch of other people in the town gets together, circles him, and someone in that crowd shoots him, but the town all just keeps silent. Everybody everybody knows who killed him, but no one has said who killed him. So yeah, that was crazy. That was a crazy story.
That is so deep. Like that is wow. That's some loyalty right there.
Yeah, that's what I said. I said as long as no one said anything, as long as the town
Yeah,
keeps
that's
quiet.
crazy, right, y'all? So as we're diving deeper into serial killers, let's talk about Jean Jones and who she was and what she did, and how we can prevent what she did in the future from happening to other people. Let's get started, y'all. As you know, Jalen, I want to be a nurse one day. So obviously, Jean Jones was a nurse also. So what do you feel like the ethical challenges are when researching someone like Jean Jones when they have a medical background?
I feel like it's scary because when you go into the hospital, you get checked out by doctors and you need to get checked out by nurses. You expect care or you expect to get helped, not end up losing your life. Or if you bring your child in specifically, you don't expect your child to lose their life while getting helped. So I feel like the ethical challenge is really big in this case, in this sense.
I definitely agree because I would also want to be a nurse, as I already stated. But obviously, Jean Jones she was a nurse for children specifically. I personally do not want to be in that type of field, but I can acknowledge and like it's sad how children have passed away because they have trusted someone and they want.
Yeah,
Yeah.
especially.
Question about that. So boom. Say if you got like you about to have a baby
Hmm.
and you had Jean Jones, you don't know nothing about her, and you realize that your baby had been like killed. How would you feel?
Um, personally, I think I would go to jail.
Oh,
Because
right.
I'm a person where I'm very protective of my family, my friends, and I know for a fact when I have kids, they're gonna be my lifeline. They're gonna be my heart.
Mhm.
So if you kill my heart, I will be killing you. Like of a parent who's lost a life, obviously, because I don't have any kids myself, but I do feel like it is it will be a heartbreak that could never be replaced or fixed
Right,
fully.
right.
So yeah.
Thank you.
I definitely understand the way you feel because I definitely would have I would have got really heated and probably would have went to jail as well.
Hmm.
So more on her. Do you think her damages to the babies were more emotional, or was it just like her care for others?
I think I think that I think she may have gone through something because we don't know everything that she went through in her life. Like from because she was adopted, so we don't know what she's seen. We don't know what she went through herself. So it could have been something that she saw in real life. But I personally think it's more mental because you don't no sane normal person would see a toddler or a child and say, oh, let me get my hero complex off of this child by killing them. And like when you think of a child, you don't think of let me try to be a hero and kill this person, let me kill this person and then be a child. I'm pretty sure I think it was a mental problem that was going on. So mhm.
Speaking about heroes, but like y'all ever thought about like her killing the babies? Like, how would she even be a hero?
I think it's more like she if she killed the baby and they press cold blue. She kills the baby. She kills the baby. Press cold blue. She'll run in there, give them CPR, or bring them back to life, and then she'll be
Hmm.
like, "Oh, you're a hero. You saved this 2-year-old."
Right,
And it's more like,
Basically, attention
yeah,
seeking. She wants attention, so that's why she does it.
right, right. You might be right. You might be onto something.
I believe she's like a narcissist. I would stand by that. She's most likely a narcissist.
You right. You right. Then I got another question. What role do you think psychology assessments and interview play in like a understanding the mind of like a serial killer?
mm. That one's kind of a hard question because even today, the psychology with serial killers are still being studied, like
Mm-hmm.
to a really big extent. They're still being studied. Um, so really, I feel like, how do I put it? Like, when assessing a serial killer or a psychological mindset of them, I feel like there needs to be an extended test. Like, if you would take a
Mm,
psychological test, they would ask you, what do you see in these pictures? Or how do
yeah.
you feel about seeing this picture? Like, or how do you feel when you hear this sound?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like they need to be like their brain needs to actually be studied. Like they need to have they in sleep studies they'll have these patches over your heads to see your brain activity. I
Yeah.
feel that they need to have those studies done to them where they'll have patches on their head hearing seeing what brain activity is going on when asked these questions or
Mm-hmm.
hearing these sounds. Like it just needs to be more than what it is now.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
I definitely agree with that because currently, right now, there are people researching serial killers right now, trying to see why they do what they do and
Hmm.
trying to see the signs so they can catch her in time.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's amazing. I think it's actually like mind blowing how they try to catch the signs before they going like in a killing spree murder or anything.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Do y'all want to know one crazy thing about her?
Mm-hmm.
Once she got arrested for doing what she did to the kids, she went to jail, actually killed another lady. And we saw that her release date was supposed to be 2018, but she didn't get released 2018, so we never knew what happened after that.
That's crazy to me. I don't think she should be released at all.
I cannot believe she even had the option to be released after what she did. She killed 60 plus children. Like, that's crazy that she even had parole.
Yeah, I don't even think she should have had a date in the first place. She should have been there for death penalty, what I think.
That's crazy. But like a fun fact, I want if you guys didn't know, she's known as the Angel of Death. She was known as the Angel of Death. And I think why she was known as the Angel of Death is because obviously she was a nurse sent to heal children in the hospital, but she actually brought death to them. Like, that was the last face they saw when they died. An angel that actually killed them.
All right, I got a question about for all of y'all. Who is y'all favorite serial killer? Okay.
Personally, my favorite serial killer, I would say between Ted Bundy. I know he's already, everybody knows him, and Jeffrey Dahmer. And again, everybody knows him.
Mm-hmm.
But the reason they're not my favorite, but they're the most interesting to me because,
Yeah.
like, one, they live completely different lives. Ted Bundy had a good life. Jeffrey Dahmer didn't. He had a messed up home, but they still committed these crimes. So my question is, like, how did someone come from a great home and is still able to commit these crimes? And Jeffrey Dahmer, I'm like, how could you eat people like that?
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Okay, my favorite serial killer is Elizabeth Bathory. She was born in the 1700s, so she's a very old serial killer. But she killed like hundreds of young women, and there was no research shows there was no specific drive for what she did, but she did it, and there's no specific reason why it was given. But I thought it was amazing how she killed them. She killed them with food poisoning, and hundreds of women died at one time. And she wasn't sent to be killed because she was a noble woman. So she lived the rest of her days in isolation.
Man, I say mine. It was, I forgot his name, but he was like, he dressed up as like a clown.
Oh,
They like painted his face white. I forgot his name, but
Joker?
No.
But he dressed up as a clown, and like I forgot what it was. But he was just killing people
I know who you talking
at
about,
like
though.
birthday parties and stuff like that. You got one?
Clown serial.
I don't even got one. Ain't like, do y'all consider people like from the movies as serial killers or not?
I think the Joker's a serial killer. He
Gacy.
had no reason why he did it. So I feel like he just did it to kill, to have fun. He's psychotic, though.
If we say that, I'd probably say Jason. Cause like, he had like a disability, and then they pushed him in the water, and then he just started killing people, and the only person he trusted was like his mom. Something like that.
You mean Bates Motel? Like Bates?
No, Jason.
Oh. I don't know that one, y'all.
Yeah.
I don't know that one.
It's straight.
Cool.
It's kind of funny because I like horror movies, but I'm not a big fan of like the serial killer ones personally because I feel like they're kind of cheesy and they're just kind of stupid. But yeah.
Okay, so coming to a closing, I have one final question for you, Jalen. How can the understanding of the psychological of the serial killers aid in the prevention?
I feel like they could aid in, obviously less people would die. It would be easier to um identify them and get them the help that they need at an earlier age. Yes, sometimes it is more, they can't be, I'm not going to say they can be fixed because obviously you can't be fixed from a mental disorder, but they can get the help that they properly need to properly prevent all of these deaths that could happen. And it could also help in the future with seeing, like when you do ultrasounds or something, being like, or when they're at a young age, identifying the warning signs earlier to catch them earlier. So yeah.
I definitely agree with that. Thank you so much for taking the time to speak to all of us today.
Thank you
It's
having me.
Thank you so much. So as we come to a closing, my name is Angelique,
I'm Nehemiah.
I'm Demonte.
and this is the end of part 2.
All right, I heard that you were a freshman. How's your freshman year been going so far?
My freshman year been good. Currently focusing more on my academics, their relationships,
Mm-hmm.
joining clubs. Currently won a scholarship.
Yep. That was up, man.
Yep.
Congrats. So I know this what part 3, and I just want to know like a couple questions about do you have any aware about serial killers?
Anywhere? I haven't. I don't really look into serial killers
Mm-hmm.
because it's kind of, I'm not gonna say traumatizing, but it's bothering
Yeah.
because they don't even talk about serial killers. They talk about, as a whole, they talk about how black on black crimes are happening more than serial killers.
Right. Yeah.
So I really don't pay attention to that because I'm like, okay, why are they labeling us black people as, oh, we're serial killers, but we're not doing the most killing?
Mm-hmm. So you saying that basically white people is labeled as serial killers other than black people because I guess because on the news you see them they
No, but
consider as a gang.
well, that's not what I'm saying. They're saying like, okay, so let's say, okay, black people are considered serial killers. They always like to have a stereotype on us because the way that we look or whatever happened. But when it's like a white person, they have the, let me say, privilege.
Mm-hmm.
They have a privilege to do it.
Yeah.
So they look at us as, okay, we got more killers than white people, but what about the white people? Let's say, for instance, um, George Floyd, right?
Yeah.
They talking about, oh, George Floyd was wrong, but they didn't really do nothing to the white cop. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it took a couple months to get the person that killed George Floyd in jail, but if it's us, we'd be in jail in 1 second.
Mm-hmm. All right, I see Angelia got very excited. Here you go.
Thank you so much, Nemo. I heard you mention that you feel like black people are not known to be serial killers. So can you express more on that? Because I personally believe that there are more black serial killers than white serial killers. But when black people kill black people, it's seen as gang violence and not as serial killers, even though there's no real reason why they did it. And I personally also feel like there is more more black people are killing other people than white people in the serial killer way. Like, I get you mentioned George Floyd, but he's not specifically a serial killer or is even in that topic of conversation when talking about them. I personally feel like there are more black serial killers, but they're not caught serial killers. And I also feel like white people are given the benefit of the doubt and caught serial killers because mostly all serial killers are mentally ill. So that's why they're called serial killers because they're given the benefit of the doubt. And black people are just called, it's just called gang violence for them.
I think black people, I'm not gonna say serial killer because mostly black people are in gangs. So I wouldn't call it a serial killer. I would call it a mass murderer.
Mm.
Because let's say for instance, Tuskegee, Tuskegee University, there was a gang of black and it's called a mass murder. The difference between serial killer and mass murderer, a mass murderer, well, they got similarities. Of course they kill a lot of people.
Yes.
But serial killer kills a lot of people probably like in 1 day, or they take time step by step. And a mass,
But wouldn't mass murderers and also serial killers both be mentally ill? Because I personally like researched this, and I personally feel like serial killers.
Okay, I hear what you're saying, but during researches, it was shown that a mass murderer is actually one person who's shooting at a group of people in one setting, not just a group of people shooting at a group of people, you know?
yeah, well, I guess I mixed it up.
That's totally cool.
All right, Isaiah, I got a question for you. How can forensic psychology tools like profiling provide insight into like her criminal behavior?
Well, one thing I can say is, well, today, forensic students, teachers are teaching them how to use that method.
Hmm.
And another thing is that it was very obvious because she was a common denominator. She was killing all the babies. She was trying to save some of them so it can make it seem like that, oh, I'm not the one killing, but I'm really trying to save these babies.
Yeah.
So the forensic people that are using that method, it'll make it easier for them to catch the person and make it look obvious. So yes, that's my answer.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Do you have any questions about Isaiah's answer?
I like that you brought up the common denominator because she was the common denominator with all of them, and that's how they caught her. So thank you for giving that example. That was a really good one.
All right, everyone, y'all. Thank y'all for having us. Thank you, Isaiah. This is episode 2 of part 3 of Inside the Mind. I'm your host, Nehemiah,
Demonte.
Angeli.
and thank you. And stay tuned for part 4. Hey guys, y'all, we are back. It's episode 2, part 4. I'm your host, Nehemiah.
Angeli, do we have a guest speaker with us today? Please introduce yourself.
Hello, my name is Victoria Jones. I'm a library assistant here at Albany State, also an alumni. I graduated in 2022. Nice to meet everyone.
Okay.
Let's get started. So, Victoria, you mentioned that you're alumni at the school. What'd you go to school for?
I went to go for having a bachelor's in history and also a minor in pre-law.
So, what do you plan to do with your minor in pre-law?
Go to law school for civil rights.
That's nice because you did say you graduate with a history major.
Mm-hmm.
That's nice. So, as we're talking about history, let's dive deeper into history, specifically Gene Jones, the serial killer.
Oh yeah, about Jean Jones. She's a white lady nursing. She killed 60 plus babies by poisoning, and she tried her best, just try to get like, just try to be looked as a hero, try to save them. She ain't save as much, but she looked as a serial killer. And yeah, you got anything else?
No, let's get started.
All right, let's go. So Victoria, so since we about to dive deeper more into it about Jean Jones, do you think she experienced an emotional rush from saving like children that she had harmed?
I feel like she does. Like she kind of felt like that she wanted to be needed
Mm-hmm.
and she wanted to be appreciated in the work she was doing. So I do feel like she used it as a way to get attention. So I
Right.
really do feel like she used that as an emotional rush. She did.
Okay, thank you for the answer.
So, Victoria, do you think her behavior was driven by a need for validation or control?
I really do think both when it comes to control and attention. She got the attention by killing the kids because they'd be like, wow, a nurse did that. You know, a nurse is for nurturing and stuff like that. And also the need of control because they're little babies. Like babies can't defend themselves. So I do feel like she wanted control in that aspect as well. But she didn't have control.
That's a good point because not when I think of it as she wants to control the situation,
Right.
like trying to killing them,
Right.
or almost killing them, and then trying to save them.
Right.
So she has the control in each scenario. Like even when
Mm-hmm.
they die, she has control. If she tries to save them, she also has control, so she never loses control.
Right.
You have anything to say, Nemo?
No. Like I said, I know you talked about how you could be like in nursing, so I got one for you. That
Mm-hmm.
do you think like the healthcare like system could like have detected Jones earlier?
I really do feel like they could have because patterns.
Mm-hmm.
You have employees and stuff like that. Like you always have to watch everybody.
Yeah.
You can't put none past
So
nobody.
you consider like basically warning signs.
Yeah, like warning signs. It could be warning signs of maybe how long she's staying there with the babies, what she's really doing.
Mm-hmm.
So they should have evaluation plans of what each employee is doing with the child,
Yeah,
the children. So yes.
I personally try to keep in mind this was the late 1970s and early 1980s.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously mental health wasn't like treasured how it is today, and it's not important as it was in the past.
Right.
You know what I mean? And also thinking about how she was the common denominator with 60 plus children,
Right.
and how she was the first one to save them if they were dying immediately. You know what I
Right.
mean? So I definitely agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a question. What role do you think education plays in catching killers in general and serial killers? Because education plays a huge part in catching them.
I believe that education plays a good role in showing the warning signs of how serial killers move. You have also like educational books about serial killers. You also have like educational videos as well. I really do think they play a good part in warning signs and how they move, and then upbringing as well, because you can also look at how their childhood was as well, like
Hmm.
warning signs and stuff like that. So upbringing, education wise. So yeah.
Do you know any of the signs?
Any of the
Do
signs?
you know any of them?
I would say when they start like killing animals and stuff like
Mm.
that, that's a big sign that something's wrong.
Movies
Yeah,
portray that a lot.
yeah, they do.
Okay, y'all. As we come to a closing with this interview, I have one final question for you. How would you prevent serial killers in the future, or try to prevent them from killing people in the future?
I would say have evaluation plans of people, like whenever things are reported to like police reports or something like that, or something excuse me, the FBI just make sure to have reports of recurring things,
Mm.
warning signs. Just I would just implement people to pay more attention to people when they show signs and not ignore it, because at times when it's ignored, that's when you have mass shootings. That's when you have this and that, because people that want to kill people, they always be on social media. That's the first sign that something's wrong with them. And then they take it out on people. They take it out on pets. They take it out on children as well. But yeah, I say the first signs of that, just have procedures with that.
Mm.
That's all.
All right, y'all. We're gonna close it out. This is episode 2, part 4, and y'all stay tuned for part 5. Thank you.
Hello, welcome to Inside the Minds, episode 2, part 5, and we saved the best for last. I'm your host, Demonte.
Nehemiah.
Angelique. Today we have a guest speak with us today. Amaya, please introduce yourself.
Hello, my name is Amaya Harrison. I am a faculty member here at Albany State University's East Campus Writing Center. I basically help students create papers and also teach them how to write a good paper.
Thank you so much for being here today. Let's get started.
Hey, um, I just wanna got a couple questions for you. Do you know what a serial killer is?
Um, yes, but I don't know like the direct definition, but
Do
I
you
know
have
what one
any?
is.
Do you know anything about serial killers, or you know any names?
Um, I wouldn't consider the Mendez brothers serial killers,
Can you
but
tell us like about them?
um, okay, they're brothers for one. They killed their mother and father, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
Um, in a way, they had a good reason why they did it
Yeah.
because they were mentally and emotionally and sexually abused by them.
Mm-hmm.
So that story kind of intrigued me a little bit.
Okay. Well, we got some people like this person to relate to about Jean Jones. How like she was basically we could say that she could be emotional because the way she did things, because how she killed 600 babies, not 660 babies, and she tried her best to save them to be looked as a hero. Angela, do you have anything about that?
Yes, I do. I would love to make sure, just so you know, that the Mendez brothers were not serial killers,
Okay.
because the reason they killed was for emotional reasons, because they hated their parents.
Mm-hmm.
And serial killers do not kill for emotional reasons or financial reasons. They kill for the satisfaction of killing.
Oh, okay.
Okay, I know you said a lot of them died. Speaking about that, so what field do you plan on like be working in nursing?
I personally will be working with hospice patients. Older people who are on the deathbed only have a few days or maybe at least a few weeks to live, instead of children. You get paid more as a hospice nurse too, because you'd be on call.
So how would that like make you feel like just watching people die?
I mean, they're older, so they lived a long life, so it won't be too sad.
So what about for kids? Probably it's like dang, isn't like
Kids,
you had that option
kids would
to
be on
save
kids
them.
would be on hospice too, though. Kids are also on hospice. even young people can be on hospice.
I'm saying, like, how would that make you feel though?
I feel like I'd feel sad, but like I'm going into nursing for the money.
So you just like, okay, they dead. You get my money.
No, though it'd be sad, it's like I need to make a living. So I'm not a very emotional person if I do not know you. So I can put aside my feelings and take care of you to the best of my ability.
Okay. Well, that's crazy. Cause like you probably could have a relationship with a kid or something like that.
I could, but obviously I'm going to try not to outside of taking care of them to the best of my ability.
Dang.
Because if you were to look at every kid like that, it'd be really hard. I wouldn't be able to do my job.
I get what you're saying though.
So I would try to stay detached from them, the emotional aspect.
Okay. All right. Do you have any other questions to ask?
I do actually. I was looking into Jean Jones and I thought about what she might suffer from in the psychology standpoint, and there's this syndrome called Munchausen syndrome. I'm probably butchering this,
I know what you're talking about.
but it involves like a caregiver or a parent inducing illness in someone they care for, usually a child, to gain attention. So do you understand what I'm saying?
That was a lot to take in.
Do you want me to explain it again? It's usually someone who's a caregiver to someone who purposely makes them ill to gain attention. You know, like who was that famous person who just got out of prison? Her mother kept making her sick. Yes, like that. Her mother had that syndrome. I'm not gonna say the syndrome. I'm not gonna say the name again. But obviously, she was a caregiver. She was a parent, and she purposely made her daughter sick to gain attention, to get money. Yes, that's exactly what I believe her mother had. So as we're relating back to Jean Jones, do you feel like that syndrome which might have contributed to her killing people? Because it relates to her as a caregiver, as a nurse, making people sick and killing them to gain attention.
Okay, I would say that it could relate to it, and then sometimes like people are just sick. Like I feel like sometimes they do it just to do it, but I mean I feel like it can relate to it honestly, but it's still sick.
It's still
kinda
sick.
sad though.
Yes, the syndrome is mental illness. Like let's say someone had mental illness, it can be like, oh, they have that syndrome, which is mental illness.
Yes. I don't know, it's sad.
It's very unfortunate. Does anyone else want to talk?
Have y'all ever seen that movie where the lady paralyzed her daughter, and then her daughter never knew, she thought she was paralyzed?
Oh, she's in
Oh,
that wheelchair.
yeah.
Yes.
I
know what
saw
you're talking
that
about.
movie, and then she gets saved, and she saved herself.
Yeah, cause
Yeah.
she went to the little pharmacy
And
and
asked.
she found out it was dog pills.
Yeah,
Yeah.
She asked what it was, and they're like, "This is for dogs."
Yeah,
She was like,
crazy.
"What?" Oh, it was great. It was
That
great.
was
movie.
crazy.
Yeah, that was crazy.
What was the name of that movie again?
I don't even know. I
No
forgot the
idea,
name.
but I mean, it's on YouTube.
I
Just
just
look out.
remember it.
Yeah, it's another movie kind of like that. Like this lady just pretending like her daughter was so sick, like she couldn't go outside at all.
Yeah.
And then like she finally
Okay.
returned.
Ooh,
Isn't
I
that
remember
like
that.
everything,
I remember.
everything.
Yes, everything. It was so good. Like she said that her daughter had an illness
Mhm.
and she couldn't go outside and breathe in fresh air.
Mhm.
But her daughter went out one time because she fell in love with a guy, and she was okay. Like she wasn't actually sick. The mother lied because she lost a child. The
And
mother
her
lost a
husband,
child. Yes, the husband. So she didn't want to lose another child, so she decided to lie to her child and keep her in the house.
She did get sick though.
She
when
did
they
get
went to
sick,
Hawaii.
but that was because she never acclimated to the real air. But that wasn't because of the illness. As we come to a closing, I have one final question for you.
Mhm.
As the number of serial killers decrease in the United States, how can we keep that number from decreasing more?
Basically by prioritizing mental health, making sure our kids are well established in school, and just basically keep on them about mental health in general,
Yeah.
basically.
I definitely agree with that.
Thank you for coming and
Of
sitting down with
course.
us, interviewing with us. And this is the closing of Inside the Mind, episode 2, part 3, part 5.
Thanks for having me.
I'm your host, Nehemiah.
Demonte.
And Joy.
Thank you.